Greetings and welcome to another episode of SPCA Stories. Hope you are all doing well. If you are new to us, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Dawn Fenton, SPCA Monterey County Content and Education Manager, and we are coming to you from the SPCA Monterey County Claire Jacobson Learning Center in fantastic Salinas, California. My guest this time around is Susan Imwalle, Vice President and CFO for SPCA Monterey County. Susan leads and administers SPCAMC's financial departments, helping programs develop and deliver on our mission. Susan has a great sense of humor. She's a lot of fun to talk to, and she cares very deeply about the SPCA. Enjoy.
Hi, Dawn.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Thank you so much for welcome to SPCA Stories. So happy to have you here. So why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Susan Imwalle. I am the Vice President and CFO of the SPCA Monterey County. And we've changed our name a couple of times, so I say the SPCA instead of just SPCA Monterey County. But that's my job.
So now, how long have you been working for the SPCA?
11 years as of May 5th.
Wow.
Just had my 11-year anniversary.
11 years. That's amazing. So now, where are you from originally? Are you local?
I was born in Washington State, Yakima, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually moved down here to Fort Ord when I was 6. My mom married my stepdad, and he was stationed at Fort Ord. We lived here for about 3 years, and then we were transferred to Washington, D.C., where we spent 4 years. And then he retired from the Army, and my parents wisely kept their home here that they had purchased. And so we moved back when I started high school. So I consider myself pretty much from here, but I'm also from Washington State.
Wow. So you have dual stateship.
Yes.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
So now, how did you fall? So first of all, what does your job entail? Your position?
I am responsible for all the money, all the financials for the organization. And so I pay all the bills that come in. I manage all the bank accounts and do all of the accounting and we have auditors that come in every year and make sure that I've done my job. We do all the financial reporting for our board and for the public. And I have a staff of people that help me with that. So I don't do it all myself, but that's what I'm responsible for. I say that I spend the money. I don't bring in the money. I just spend the money.
I see. So that's a pretty big job, because I think our listeners, depending on when they start listening to us, will realize that we're a pretty big organization.
We are, and we've gotten bigger as I've been here. When I started, I think our budget was about $5 million a year, and now it's about $13 million a year. So
incredible.
It's gotten to be a bigger job as time has gone by.
Yeah, I think the animals need it and deserve it.
Yeah.
So, so you have a pretty important job. Now, so how were you always a numbers person?
I think I was good at numbers, good at math. I don't know that I ever thought that this would be my job. I thought I'd be a teacher or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what I thought I was going to be. But I had some friends in college that were taking accounting classes, and so that's what kind of started me down that path, and that's where I landed.
So numbers and animals.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're talking about here. So what were you like as a kid?
Quiet, shy, liked school.
Did you have pets?
We did. When I was born, we had a Great Dane named Ralph. There's a picture of me in my high chair with him standing next to me, and his head is taller than my head.
Mm-hmm.
And we also had a little fluffy black dog named Chico that was probably a poodle-y mix. And we've had multiple pets. Then we had cats when I was in high school. And then we've had dogs and cats as an adult with our family.
Mm-hmm. So you love animals.
I do.
And how did you find your way here?
Well, I've worked for for-profit. I've worked for the University of Arizona at one point. I have worked for government agencies, and nonprofits are really kind of the best of it all. It's kind of nice to feel like I'm working. I mean, that's the good thing about finance and accounting is they need that in pretty much every organization. But in nonprofits, it feels like you're kind of working for the greater good in a way.
Yes.
And so I feel like that's where my heart has been. So I think I manifested this job because I was working in a job I didn't really care for. And I thought, oh, I want to go back to nonprofits. I want to work for an established nonprofit that's well respected in our community, like the SPCA. And then within like 2 weeks, this job popped up because the previous person was retiring. And so I made it so.
You manifested it. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part about working here?
I think just kind of hearing all of the stories, and I'm just constantly amazed at what the depth of knowledge of people. We'll have like a management meeting and someone from wildlife will talk and I'm like, they know detailed stuff about animals that I've never even heard of before.
Mhm.
And it's just part of their, that's just part of their knowledge. And it's just really cool that there are so many really smart people who know so much. And I really enjoy hearing the stories about helping, all the different animals that we
Yeah.
help. And it's just amazing.
It is amazing. And I feel like every time we go into those meetings or anytime I'm, going around on campus and for various reasons, I feel like I learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredible.
Right.
It's incredible. So before we get too far into this, the way I like to start by giving my guests a compliment.
Oh, okay.
Well, I want
you.
to set the tone because, again, the whole point of this podcast is I want the world to understand the people that do the work here.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things I really enjoy and respect about you is that it's a very important job that you have. And maybe you're not hands-on with the animals, but you have a big responsibility. And I've always admired the way that you approach things. You're professional, but you also have a sense of humor about things. You're easy to talk to and come to if anyone has a question about something. And you have such an important job, and I've always respected that. The human being that you are. And that's an important thing because it would be very easy. I don't know, it could be very easy for the money person to kind of stay, because I've worked in other organizations, nonprofits with, where the person who does the money stuff
Mm-hmm.
is very closed off and doesn't want to answer questions. And the rest of us who are kind of loosey-goosey and squishy and emotional, they have no time for us. I've experienced that in other organizations, and I'm being a little overdramatic, but I just have always respected. You set an example.
Well, thank you. I love it when people ask me questions. Like people come in and say, "Oh, I hope I'm not bugging you about this," or "I have a question about my budget report." I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Doing our budgets is actually my favorite part of the year because I get to hear about what everybody is planning for the next year, and I get to help them think about, financially how we're going to do that. And I get to feel like part of the bigger team that way too. So thank you.
You're welcome. And that's an important piece of the puzzle. The financial part, is a huge part of it. And I get a kick out of the way everyone works together and everyone does do their part. And, everyone that I've interviewed, I've gotten to know a little something crazy about them, maybe something I didn't know before, but it's just amazing to me how we come from all these different places and we are focused on basically the same thing, and that's caring for the animals. So we're lucky. I feel so lucky to be part of this organization. So, and you are a huge part of that. So
thank you.
So thank you for that. What did you want to be when you were a kid?
I think I wanted to be a teacher because I really liked school. I always, even not when I was a kid, I would say, if there was a job that was going to school, that would be the best job for me.
Okay.
But I don't think that's been invented yet. So, when you're a kid, you don't know about a lot of different jobs. So, my mom was a teacher, so that was something that came up for me. A writer, maybe. I think for a while I wanted to be a writer. So,
wow. Yeah, I like to ask that question because it's sort of interesting to see how people's lives start in one place, and sometimes they take a few turns and then they end up where they're at now, or sometimes they go straight to it. So,
well, I do have a history degree, so that's my bachelor's degree is in history. So, it's not really exactly the way that you would expect.
Does that come in handy?
I think it comes in handy just because I'm more well-rounded than just having the numbers.
Well, what gets you motivated? What are you passionate about?
What am I passionate about?
Why are you passionate about, or first of all, are you passionate about the SPCA?
I am. Because I think we're a wonderful organization. I think we do really good work, and I think the people here are amazing. And, I feel like we are such an integral part of the whole community too. And that's great. I mean, and I've used our services. I've adopted animals. I've used our clinic. I have our trainers, on call pretty much because they're helping me with my naughty dog. But I think we're such an integral part of the community, and I think it's more than just the animals. It's being a good citizen of the community.
Yes, absolutely. What is the most difficult part of your job?
I think sometimes when people don't understand certain aspects of it. One difficult part is just knowing that there are some sad stories here too. And so, if I'm walking to my car and I see that, somebody's having to say goodbye to their long time pup, that's hard. But in a professional sense, I think what's frustrating sometimes is that people don't always understand how we operate and don't understand what our financial reports really mean. And so that misunderstanding kind of is frustrating. But like this year, our budget that we just approved is about $13 million a year it takes to operate this
and we need
organization.
It's needed.
It is needed. Sometimes there have been times in the past where I've been kind of looking for, we have payroll this week and I need cash and where can I pull it from and that sort of thing. We're very fortunate that we do have some very wonderful donors.
Yes.
And, but I think people don't understand, you just got this big donation. Well, that's for endowment, and endowment means we can't spend that money. We can only spend the money that it earns. So it's not like we have this huge pot of money that is just unlimited for us to use. And I think people don't understand that.
Sure. So another aspect of this is sometimes I go to career fairs, or we'll go to career fairs and talk about what we do. And with my job, kids are always amazed because when they hear animal shelter or working with animals, they're either you're a veterinarian or a groomer or a dog walker. Those are just, they think that is the only path. So I think we're really lucky that we do what we do, you and I, and we are still we're still helping animals. We're still part of animal welfare and helping. Right. It's just another aspect. So what advice would you give to somebody who is maybe interested in both doing something that's good for the world and they're really good at numbers?
Well, I think, take what you're good at and look at what kind of organizations do something that you're really passionate about or interested in. And yeah, with numbers, I mean, there's, like I said, that's one really great thing about it is that every organization needs somebody to handle the finances. So you can work in, like I said, all kinds of things. So I think, yeah, it's nice to go to work and have dogs around, and every once in a while a puppy will run down the hallway in my office, and it's really great. That doesn't happen at everybody's workplace.
Yeah.
So I think think about what kind of work environment you want to have, and kind of apply what your skills are to that.
So we have a lot of departments here. Lots and lots. We're not just dogs and cats. We do a whole lot of other stuff. Is there a particular department that you find fascinating?
I always love going down to the barn because there's always some kind of really interesting animal. So if I hear that we have a baby horse or something, I'm always interested in somebody walking down with me to go take a look. I got to hold a duckling not too long ago, so that was very sweet. I hear we might have some baby goats sometime soon. So I was told Jamie that I would like a baby goat alert when that happens. So I think that's interesting. And like I said, it's just amazing that how did they know how to take care of all those different animals?
Yeah. And some of the problems that they have to solve.
Right.
As well. It's, our staff is incredible. Incredible. So we already know that your favorite thing is the budget season.
Yeah.
So
I know that's right.
So do you have a mentor? Somebody, it doesn't have to be anybody here. Do you have somebody that you talk to when you feel stuck?
Well, I do there's a group of us that are all in the same position in different animal welfare organizations in the Bay Area that, will shoot emails to each other to say, hey, how are you dealing with this particular thing? But in terms of just general professional stuff, I mean, I have a couple friends that may not be in finance, but they're good to kind of bounce some of those, personal challenges that we all have in the working world. And then I know I had one boss who was really one of the toughest bosses I've ever had. I was a little scared of her, but I find myself kind of thinking about things that she has said over time that I'm like, oh, yeah, that was really good advice, Oh,
that's great. That's great. Working here, so 11 years now, you've been at the SPCA. Have you learned anything about yourself working here as opposed to any of your other jobs?
I think I've learned a lot more about my own pets and learning how to raise them.
Yeah.
We have a couple of dogs now that, they really we're exactly the house that they should be living in because we're equipped to handle them.
I've got those too.
Yes. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing. Yeah, I just, I do feel very settled here and very, it's a good give and take.
Absolutely. And we are surrounded by resources, which is also very nice.
Yes.
So I feel lucky that we have, so when I am having an issue with Birdie or Phoebe, I can, go to the behavior team and say, hey, what do you think about this? Can you help me? So that's helpful. It's really, we're lucky that way.
Yes.
When you have, so I know you said that you love budget. You love budget time, but I'm sure there's got to be an element of stress to some of that stuff. So
absolutely.
What do you do for yourself? is there something, do you have, because with some of the other staff members, we talk about compassion fatigue.
Right.
And the need to, step away and be able to leave work at work.
Right.
So given that, the financial part of things is so important, and I can see how that would be stressful, getting all those pieces together and getting approvals and all the, whatever you need to do. So is there a way that you unwind? Do you do something for yourself?
I used years ago when I worked at another place, I know I had a rule of like, after I pass this stoplight, I don't think about work anymore. And that doesn't necessarily work so much anymore.
That's interesting.
But I had littler kids at the time, and so it was a little bit more necessary. What do I do to unwind? Well, you know me, I'm a concert person.
Yes,
so
you are.
we are, my husband and I have kind of taken on the challenge of kind of following our favorite band, different
And who's
places. That? Well, it's Pearl Jam, of course. And so we do that. It's really fun to plan the trips, and it's fun to go. We were just in Nashville, and it's fun to go see new places. And so traveling is becoming a kind of a new thing of now that our kids are out of the house and everything.
Right.
So
right. That's awesome. Awesome. So what are your hopes for the future of animal welfare? Well,
I think it would be nice to have more organizations that look like ours, or that we could. I think it would be great if we looked like a kind of a model that was held up for other organizations.
I love that.
I think that, like what you guys do in this department, is really important, that education and getting some changes in the community that will kind of help us not have so many of those sad stories.
Yeah. Planting the seeds. Planting those seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I volunteered here in high school as well.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about that.
Yeah. So I volunteered when I was like 16, maybe like 14 through 16, maybe. And got to go in and play with puppies and take them for walks and stuff like that. It was very different. It looked very different then than it looks now. So, so I've been here since then.
Wow. Okay. So what made you volunteer?
I think it was close, and I think, who doesn't want to go play with puppies? That sounds like a good idea.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
So you've got that little legacy going on.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. And then you're back.
And now I'm back.
Now you're back here. And that's amazing. So what do you wish people knew about us?
Well, I think, one thing that people always say, and I'm sure you've heard this a million times, is, oh, I can't go visit because it's too sad. I can't, I'd want to take them all home. And I always try and correct people and say, it's not like that. If you come, you can play with the dog if you want, to, or a cat or whatever. And it's not sad. And they're just waiting for a home, and you don't have to worry about taking them all. Somebody will take them. So I think that's one thing I wish people knew, is that this is a really fun, happy place. And we do have a lot of resources. We have training and kids camps and, all kinds of ways that we're part of the community.
Yes.
So that's one thing that I do correct people on a lot, is it's not a sad place. It's a pretty happy place most of the time.
We want to invite people in. We want people to see what's here. I love that. I love that. Is there a question you wish I had asked you?
I don't know. I didn't know what you were going to ask me. I didn't know what we were going to talk about, because nobody really cares about numbers as much,
We do, Susan.
I always feel like nobody really wants to come talk to me. They always feel like they're going to be in trouble or something.
Is there something that you would like to reveal that nobody knows about you?
I think I've been here a long time. I think people know all the stuff that I'm willing to let them know about me.
So that is no, Dawn. No, that's okay.
We did a staff meeting one time, and that was, people talked about, what something,
right.
with like somebody was a triplet, and my thing was that I high-fived Eddie Vedder at a concert one time, and
that's a good one.
I had to say, younger people ask your older supervisors, but yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for your time and talent, and your being part of this organization only makes us better.
Oh,
so thank you so much for all that you do. And we will probably have you back on another time. So thank you so much.
Okay, I'll have to think of something interesting to reveal about myself at that point.
Thanks, Susan. Thank you all for tuning in. We would love to hear from you. If you have questions or just want to say hello, you can drop me an email at dfenton@spcamc.org. You can find out more information about all of our programs and services at our website, spcamc.org. A tremendous thank you to all SPCA staff, volunteers, and board of directors. And of course, a heartfelt thank you to our generous supporters. We at SPCA Monterey County could not do what we do for the animals and people in our community without you. If you would like to support us, and that would be amazing, you can find that information at spcamc.org. If you're liking what you hear, please drop us a like or give us a rating on whatever platform you listen in on. Those ratings help us reach more animal lovers. I'm Dawn Fenton, signing off until next time. Much unconditional love to you and your pets from us here at SPCA Monterey County.